Data you don't action is just overhead. Welcome to Talking Experience Analytics with a decent beer in a shed. And this is Snow Pines from Vocation Brewing up in Hebden Bridge, which is no doubt snowy as heck right now. Resiny. Now there's too many dashboards, data reads, reports in your business that you don't do anything with. And those reports, if you're still getting them, are vanity. And there are a number of highly regarded industry level reports, particularly in US grocery, that frankly, you can't do anything with. And yet we still pay for them. We still bring them in because occasionally we're at the top of the table or we're mid-table and we go to the board and we say, hey, we're going to do something, but it's not the data you're actioning. So that report's overhead. And there's too much of that in our business. When we created Experience Analytics as a practice, when we built it from the ground up, it was crucial to us that every single bit of it should be attributable, truthful, and actionable. That you should be able to see, plan, do, measure, test, and gain. And we do that in two particular ways with Experience Analytics. We create operational loops and propositional loops. Operational loops are the things that come out of the data day by day, store by store, district, banner, and so on, that essentially tell you where each store and each district and so on is versus industry par and is versus other stores in the network, but also local in-market competitors. You see a signal that tells you where you are, you look at the playbook that relates to that signal, you go do it, you go action it. And our data directly goes through those loops. Everything is linked to here's a piece of insight, here's a signal, here's a go do, here's how to do it. Propositional loops are about taking groups of signals that relate to particular things like convenience or food for tonight or, I don't know, basics, or in one of the retailers that we work with, they've got a really clever idea about how they lock a certain offer to Walmart's and they compare that part of their offer directly with Walmart's and they can constantly measure those two against each other. And if there is a gap that emerges, then it's time to change that proposition and do something else with it. So it's all about making it very straightforward, because the operational loops, they drive revenue and comps. They drive revenue and comps like no other piece of data in your business. Propositional loops, they drive market share, because you've got to improve the proposition consistently and constantly, understand what missions you think you can win, understand which missions are high value, and then use propositional loops to plan how you win those and how you take those bit by bit from customers. Aldi is a fabulous example in this area where, 852 Aldis are in the parking lot of Walmart supercenters. And that's very deliberate, because what Aldi are able to do is say, hey, there's a whole bunch of stuff we can't even touch Walmart on. But tonight's dinner, well, we can make that much easier. Very straightforward, very simple. Park close to the front of the store, walk around a simple loop, get the 3 things you need to sort tonight's dinner and leave. Equally, nobody wants to walk to the 4 miles to the back of a Walmart supercenter for a quart of milk. So Aldi make it really easy to do top-ups in their space. And there are all sorts of other parts of convenience, other parts of basics, other parts of store cupboard, store cupboard basics that Aldi make very easy, because they think about the individual parts of the proposition, much less having to constantly think about the overall. They have a fixed, this is what we are, and then within that we're going to win this mission, and this mission. Experience Analytics is just the most powerful tool to help you do that. And there's a reason for that. And I'm going to kind of summarize it. There are 3 things that Experience Analytics aren't, and 3 things that Experience Analytics are. Experience Analytics is not reacting to shoppers' feelings. Make that mistake, react to feeling and sentiment, and you go down a dark, unproductive path. What Experience Analytics is building more attractive experiences. People will feel better about those experiences anyway, but reacting to the squeaky wheel telling you Today, they don't like this, they don't like that, that doesn't work, they want this, they want the other. When the other 96% of your customers don't have that voice and your non-customers are not heard. So experience analytics starts with the experience. Experience analytics isn't fixing complaints, and you should absolutely fix complaints. Instant in-store feedback from things like True Rating, for example, is a great way of recognizing a fire when it's burning. Superb. But actually what Experience Analytics does instead is guide you towards the competitive gaps and shows you how to close them. Experience Analytics isn't reported subjective experience. It is real, empirical, observed, measurable experience. And those aren'ts and ises are why this data is so actionable. So think in operational loops, think in propositional loops. Signal, suggested fix, go make the fix, loop again. Data set, part of the proposition, solution, gaps, potential to lead, go test it, loop again. And if we ever meet in person, ask me about Bristol beat Connecticut. I'll tell you a great story.